Hey everyone, hope you're well. Max here with an awesome jury. I'm really happy to do this MDC Strange Future live with all the friends here. So, hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So, today we are with awesome artists. I will let you introduce yourself because you're probably better at introducing yourself than me introducing you. So, let's start by you, Stuart.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name's Stuart, and I go by my online kind of like alias is Stuzor. And I'm in Arkansas in the U.S. and just kind of been doing renders and work and freelance stuff about the past, I guess, daily stuff for almost 5 years now, and then freelance work for about 3. And yeah, so that's me. So.
Okay, so then we have Cromfeld, the mystery jury member.
Yeah, it's a total honor to be here, first of all. I'm another 3D artist, kind of like in the vein of Stuart. I kind of just popped up, decided I wanted to do some art one day, and now it's been like 5 years going, and it's just fun every day, really.
Then we have Steph from Motion Graphics Collective and Motion Design Awards.
Hi guys, my name is Steph. Like Max said, I'm from the Motion Graphics Collective and the Motion Design Awards, and I am a studio owner in the Netherlands. That's it.
Yeah, too much things. So what's the name of your studio, Steph?
It's called Studio MAD, M-A-D.
Okay, that's great. Then we have David, aka Locked and Loading.
Yo, what's up, everybody? David Brodeur here. I think I'm probably most known for a series of like weird, creepy crap that I've made. But yeah, I produce a lot of personal work, throw it up on Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff. But run my own studio. I do a lot of teaching and training online with Grayscale Gorilla and also Ring on College of Art and Design in the motion design department. So just kind of a total 3D nerd. If you don't know me, check some stuff out. So
then we have Alan, master of the nice background.
Why did I choose my brick wall? Hey everyone, I'm Mckay. I've been in the industry for 25 years, worked at ILM, Blur Studio, Ubisoft, a lot of studios like that. So yeah, just do visual effects and also talk a lot about how artists can build a more successful career and brand in my spare time. And I need a cool username like half of you guys, so I guess I got to work on that to go with my background.
And then we have Sava, and Sava actually means I'm good in French for the personal tips.
That never gets old, and I was wondering if you're gonna go for the last name, but that's fine.
I will try Zivkovic.
It's very close. That's very good.
Okay.
Hey everyone, my name is Sal Živkovic, and I'm just another CG nerd. I work as a director at Access Studios, where we make a bunch of game cinematics, and in the meantime, I kind of do my own personal short films, all kind of fully CG animated so far. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So yeah, an awesome jury, and what is really cool is that we actually found the winners. Don't joke about my French accent.
I said nothing.
So I think we will start by reviewing your top favorite. So maybe let's start by Stuart. Can you actually share your screen, or do you want me to actually?
Yeah, I can see if I can do this properly. All right. Is that coming through okay?
Can you just pick a window and stuff? Because I haven't done this.
Yeah, you can. That's what I just did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't know if sound comes through. I'll just give it a shot and see what happens, I guess. So I picked this first one because I actually saw it a few times reposted a couple different places, and I just thought it was like really cool. It had like a kind of like a different feel from like what I was kind of expecting in this, and the sound design in it is really cool. I used to do sound design for agency like 10 years ago, and so it was just like a really nice kind of like calming a loop. Really, I think this is just like a loop, but they did a really good job. So I'll play it for you guys. It comes through okay.
You're gonna have to do the sound effects yourself.
Okay. So no sound comes through. Anyway, really cool. It's like this really cool ambient sound, just kind of like wind blowing, kind of like, and it's just this loop like you never get to the horizon line, which is kind of cool. I like it. Just that little bird flying through. Anyway, that was one of the ones I picked just because, like I said, it's kind of a different feel from kind of everything else I saw. And I think he actually did a few other just kind of like loops. It looks like he kind of does these cool little like landscape loops and stuff. So anyway, so that was one of my picks.
Yeah, that's great. I will add for each of your picks the link in the chat so everyone following the live could actually see.
Okay. Excuse me. The second one here, this is a really cool one. Again, there's no sound, so I'm sorry, you guys will just have to go, but you can see the visuals and hopefully that works. I don't know if does this still work full screen if I go full screen for everyone? Like, can you still see it?
Oh, Lord. I'm just getting a white box, but that just might be me.
No, it hadn't started yet. Let's see how it goes. You guys see that?
Oh, okay. It's choppy for me, but
is it?
It's all right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I chose this one. This is let me go smaller again. Maybe that'll be better. This is his online name is Tim Set or Tim Cat or however you say it, but his name is. Here we go. I'm gonna give this a shot. Elia Pellegrini. Maybe that's how you say his name. Anyway. I just thought it was really cool, like a really cool like movie vibe, almost kind of like Matrix-y right here. Yeah, I don't know if you want me to play the entire thing through or not.
Yeah, it's up to you. We can stay there.
Yeah.
And
okay, it's just kind of cool. Maybe we can talk about some of it. It almost has kind of like that first Star Trek movie. Like the very first one with Kirk and stuff, like when they're going to the Voyager.
The motion picture.
Yeah. Like when they're going into like see the Voyager thing, so it kind of has like some of those elements, which I thought were kind of cool.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I mean this dude puts out some pretty sweet stuff anyway, but this was pretty. I thought this was really cool. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was a very difficult pick. Like,
yeah, some of them were like short films, so I'm like, damn, this is like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Epic. I'm like, I was waiting for like little 5-10 second clips, and I'm like sitting there for 2 minutes, like fully immersed in it.
I mean, like that's pretty cool. That's pretty
Cameos
cool.
from your favorite actors.
So that I thought that was really cool, really well done. Plus, it's a lot of work. I mean, that's a lot of work to 2 minute long, 2.5 minute long little animation. That's pretty crazy. And then my last pick here is kind of in the same vein, really. Obviously, this one has really cool.
Hope you're well.
Cool sound effects.
Awesome jury. I'm really
Someone's catching up on the stream.
There we go. Yeah, so this one was kind of like the same thing. This is like almost a 2 minute long video, and again, the sound in these plays a huge, for me personally, like the visuals are great, but like having sound, like the sound design, because like again, I did sound design for a while, and I was a musician and stuff like that. So like hearing the sound design and hearing the music that goes with a piece for me like plays a pretty significant role also.
No, I definitely agree. It's like 50% of the whole thing, really, like even more
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
I've heard
I know
52 actually. I've always went with the 52%, but yeah, that's fine.
And again, this is just kind of cool. We can see some of the kit bash actually elements in here too. Kind of a cool combination of different like effects that they've used.
Wait, you
Yeah,
mean
this guy was definitely an honorable mention for me. I feel like he put so much of himself into that work, and it's so long and it's so large. It's not just scenes drawn out. These scenes are actually pretty quick. I mean,
Right.
these shots don't
That's right.
last that long. Just the amount of stuff that he must have made and the amount of frames for these unique scenes that he must have pumped out for this is crazy.
Yeah. And so it's again, like I said, I just thought it was kind of cool. Like almost like a movie trailer type of a thing. It's almost over here. So
if I was gonna give a bit of criticism on this one, like I love this one, but the reason why it didn't make my top 3 is like the whole reveal at the end that it's all a chip. Like that was I feel like that was kind of undermined by the actual length of it. Like I feel like if the edit was more tighter, if it was kind of shorter, it would have kind of ended up on that reveal faster and made a bigger impact out of it. At the moment, like I feel it just might be a bit too long. So that's why it just didn't make my top 3. But it's definitely an honorable mention for me. Like it's an amazing piece.
All right, I guess I'll stop sharing my screen and you guys kind of carry.
Yeah, nice one.
That was me, by the way. I had a YouTube window sitting behind another window, and I dragged it across. It automatically started playing. So good night. Good.
All right, cool. 1 second. Should I go with the first place or the third place first? Whichever way. All right, I'll go with my favorite pick then. Let me know if this is showing through now.
Yep.
Cool. So Patrice Louise, if that's how you pronounce the name, I'm gonna full screen it, but yeah, it's missing the sound and it's probably gonna be all choppy. But like to me, this one was immediately it felt it like just as a complete kind of a clear cut kind of winner for me. The shots like this one, I mean, I don't even like it, at the moment, like it looked like an actual like live action thing. Like the amount of care in every single shot is just, I don't know, like it just stood out from the bunch. I feel like one of the things, like when you look at the entire thing with all of the submissions, like there's so many amazing work in there, but like most of it, like I guess like you think of like the Strange Universe, like most of it is like space imagery immediately, whereas this one, like it's a completely different take on the Strange Universe kind of a thing. It's got this kind of like whatever it is, like parallel dimensions or like some awkward strangeness to it. Like I don't even know, like but with the strings imagery and with the kind of the green lights slowly kind of seeping in, it really resonated with me. Like that's the thing, like I don't really like when I look at this, like I don't even know like if there's supposed to be a story in there or if it's like a purely a visual piece, but it really resonates meaning for me. Like there feels like, all right, there's an underlayer maybe that I'm not really like hitting myself, but it looks like there's been some thought put into this. One like down note for me is, again, the ending feels a little bit anticlimactic, but the overall kind of strength as a piece really sells it as a top choice for me. Beautifully done. Second one is like I really tried to, like a lot of these, I guess it's just like, you know, like trying to be a bit diverse with the choices. At least for me, like this is this feels beautiful. Like this is the stuff that I never really fully understood myself. Like how it, like it's not really my style, I guess. But I absolutely love it. It has all the kind of a really nice kind of edit to the track, the various different elements of kind of motion with slow motion kind of volume effects that kind of completely like large spaces, and then from large kind of I guess universes down to the microscopic things. Like all of that really works well for me. And yeah, this is again, it's a short to the point, and yeah. The last one is probably like the most one that's the most like out of the left field for me. Like this really isn't my thing, but I absolutely love it for some reason. Like it's just like, again, like in thinking of kind of seeing like what everyone's done and kind of how this one is different in its own way, it stuck out to me. The loop was perfectly executed. It ties in with a razor. Like that was the one thing that I was really looking for. It's kind of like, all right, let's see, like there's going to be pieces that are going to be completely like treated as a short film or as a short kind of exploration. This one kind of tied in with the whole razor thing, and that was a plus for me. And yeah, again, the whole looping videos thing, which is a big trend now. I thought this was a kind of a fresher take on it. Like a lot of those looping videos are very minimal and very beautiful to look at, but this one has a little bit more, I guess, complexity to it with the camera move and how it all kind of plays out and reveals itself. So yeah, that'll be my third choice.
Nice. I didn't vote for that one because when it goes to his 3D screen, I don't like his Cinema 4D menu layout.
Well, see, I don't use Cinema 4D, so I'm like, all right, that's fine.
That one was pretty dope.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, that was evil. Yeah, very difficult.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let me flip it over then. All right. First, I'll say this, that props to everybody. It's not easy to like submit your work into something and know that people are going to like judge it. And like, I just kind of like joked and made fun of something, but it was just a joke. Just hope you know that. I've really enjoyed going through all of them. I think what you'll notice from most of my picks, they're kind of more short vignettes, and that's really kind of what I enjoy watching online. And so that's why I picked those. And especially on like social media, and that's where I'm like watching these at. So my choices were very much smaller ideas where I like it to watch something and let my brain do like the rest, building the rest of the world or the rest of the scene, rather than like follow a story or something on Instagram. Now, some of them, like one of them does go a little bit longer. This one though, by Jean-Michel, I thought was fantastic. I'll just like refresh it so it starts from the beginning here. Absolutely beautiful. I love just like the monochromatic of everything and so much detail. If you go to this artist page too, he shows like a little breakdown of like the layering, compositing and stuff like that. But right, small vignette. Like I don't need any more of the story to be like, that's dope. So this was my favorite piece. Like all the foliage, composition, even like the large, like massive tree stump root thing, all just really, really cool. And pretty much when I would watch something, like instantly it was like, I'm inspired by that. I want to make something in that kind of vein now, or like that sparks this other kind of creative thing for me. I was like, I gotta pick those. So I had like a whole pile of ones that I was like, this is cool. I would like to make something like that. And that's pretty much how I ended up choosing my winner. So this for me was number one.
Yeah, I think you can actually show like the small making of. I think Jean-Michel added on his page making of. And
yeah, why not?
And to me, like that was even more impressive than the entry.
Oh, nice, an actual widescreen.
Yeah. Instagram does not favor the actual widescreen, but us artists appreciate it if we're watching it here.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Oh, he actually used like the VR sculpting stuff.
Jeez.
I'm already way deeper into the breakdown, and I gotta get this VR app. Jesus, this looks pretty good.
Man, I'm so late to the game with this VR stuff. Like,
Oh, same here. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm watching right now.
Dude, I'm the same way.
I'm like,
You put on goggles and magic happens. That's all I know. I like
yeah, exactly. You just wish it to go in that spot. and it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
I was just doing a keynote last night with Google and NVIDIA about artificial intelligence, and it's pretty much exactly like that on that end too, where it's just like let the computer do all the hard thinking.
Jeez.
I'm so glad the computer can't build what's in my mind 90% of the time. I'm like, that should never be visualized ever.
Yeah.
And breaking news, Dave Brodor's in jail again. Cool.
This is crazy, man. I didn't realize how much
yeah,
That's a lot of objects.
Houdini magic.
Right. So I'm like, it's a small scene, but I'm like, it's there, and like the depth is there, and now it's like you could easily break this into a longer piece and create some kind of concept behind it that's deeper or has a storyline. But I'm like, the foundation now is set. So I thought that was pretty dope. So we'll keep moving here.
That's crazy.
That's a great choice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I really like this one. Again, like really like small, condensed. It's just kind of like, just kind of a moving image almost, and I know a lot of them go for like 2 minutes, but again, that's not really what excites me on social media. I just like skimming through, and like if something pops out to me instantly, then that's what I like. And I feel like that's how a lot of people view social media stuff. So that's how I was viewing my selections here. And again, just like small little attention to detail. I thought the composition was really nice. The color palette was really nice. You've got like the warm tones and the cool tones, nice complementary. But again, this one like inspired me, and I was like, yes, I would love to build something like this. And I thought the rendering was really nice too, and little like dust particles and stuff like that. Like, obviously, when I say simple, I don't mean it was like easy to make, but like, the idea of just viewing it is pretty simple. So I thought it was cool that you could create something pretty impactful with, minimum there without having to do a ton of extra scenes. Also thought it was cool you were jumping in using Emergen. Hasn't been out that long. Cinema 4D and Octane. So it's nice to see that like you're actually making your own smoke simulations here, and they're not just necessarily stock or video assets. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So like I knew that you were creating this and like learning something new. So I wanted to give props to that as well. And then the third one is a little bit longer. So this is like breaks out from the series of like more shorter clips. I'll refresh this so it starts from the beginning. And so like instantly I saw this and I'm like, dude, I love making weird, creepy alien stuff. So I'm like, I'll give this one a further watch, even like it's longer. And then like I love like dirt and rocks and kind of that like alien sci-fi world. And I thought this one had nice transitions and nice camera work and depth of field, and really directed the viewer's eye to what we're supposed to be focusing on. And then this scene right here is really what sold me on it. The minute I saw this like weird blobby thing, I was like, all right, it's in there for me, and it made it to my my top selections. Right, and then concluded kind of like product shot-esque. I was like, all right, I like the whole wrap up of it. So that was my top three.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks for sharing those. And yeah, if you don't know the work from David, he likes like blobby things, if I'm understanding correctly. By the way, I shared the social medias of every jury member, so if you guys are not familiar with them, you can actually check what they do. I just forgot like Cromfell, the mystery jury member, but I will add it.
No, you posted me in the chat. Don't worry about it. I saw it.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about the YouTube description.
Oh, well, I was last minute edition. I'll forgive it.
So it's your turn, Alan.
Okay. So I hit the present now.
Yeah.
Oh, entire screen. Okay, technology. Well, first I ought to say that everyone's work is freaking badass. So all the ones we were looking at just now, amazing. Yeah, obviously I chose this one as well, and yeah, I just love it. I love the feel of it. It just has so much immense detail. I'd seen the YouTube version. I hadn't seen all the VR stuff, which is just even crazier. So yeah, I love the detail, but I also love kind of the vibe of it. It's got such saturated greens that just the entire environment just kind of feels like it is kind of otherworldly. I don't know what it is about. I feel like this is Instagram because I keep looking at the YouTube version, at least at like 4K, and I don't see it as much. But the Instagram version feels like it has depth of field in the background, which again, I'm assuming that it isn't the case, but it just really feels like it has depth of field, which drives me nuts because you wouldn't get that with a real lens. But at the same time, like I kind of like that because it made it feel, even with all this immense detail, like it was a miniature, like as if it's like one of those like hologram toys or something, like more of a macro lens. But like I said, I feel like that doesn't come through here, so maybe it's just Instagram compression. But yeah, I love this. I think it's such an original piece. The other two here are definitely a lot more fun and goofy, not more on the serious side, but I like this one just because it's so monochromatic, but then you've got this introduction of color coming in from these snaky procedural things. But I just kind of like the feel of how they're both affecting the environment, but also introducing color into it all. But also the fact that everything kind of really plays on shapes the entire time. So just because I don't really do much abstract stuff, I can really appreciate it. And I also feel like there's 3 phases to this, even though it's really just a couple of shots, which is kind of the close-up, more the shapes moving through, rippling, and kind of contaminating the scene with color. But then we got more of the wider shot here. But I also really like at the very end where everything kind of encapsulates over the giant kind of Borg cube type thing. So I kind of like the transitions as it goes through them all. And this one here I thought was kind of goofy and fun. For me, when I think of what's underneath your keyboard, it's gunk and finger goo and just nothing nice. But I just kind of like the shift from one palette to another. So you go from greens all the way to more warms, oranges and greens. So yeah, I thought this was kind of fun. It just kind of reminds me of some of the stuff that I had done early into my career, and yeah, it's just kind of a fun kind of shift from more of a darker environment to being a really warm, colorful, friendly, and trying to think of the right word for it, but yeah, more of an entertaining feel to it. So yeah, those are mine, and yeah, I think I don't have a preference of 1, 2, 3. I think all of these are great in their own way. And that is me. But yeah, really great job, everyone. Really awesome stuff.
Oh, thanks. I'll go in presenting mode. Oh yeah. I'm having technical issues, guys. I can present. Oh wait, here. Just hold on a sec.
At least no one's done the talking and they're muted, and we have to be like, you're muted. Hasn't happened yet.
The way at the beginning for you
Hasn't
guys.
happened yet.
Yeah.
Wait, guys, I have to go in and out again. I'm very sorry about this.
Give it some time, David.
You'll never have me back. It's like, man, we playing YouTube videos in the background. He's got mute on, and
Just want to know how to turn these horses off my background. I don't even know how to do that now. I guess that's just there forever. All
That's
right.
your inner personality, man. It's just
It is.
Cool, bro. That's your
Running
power.
the wild and free.
Hey,
Majestic.
welcome
Good
back,
job,
Steph.
guys. Good
Like a
job.
Rod Stewart music video.
Yeah. If you look at your work, it's mostly horses, right? So that makes
It
sense.
is.
Oh, and look what we have to do now.
There we go. Hey.
Stop following the horses to it.
No, we literally need to do it now. Steph, you're muted.
He literally is muted now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I set him up.
Chaos is
Technical
ensuing.
issue, guys. Sorry.
No worries.
All right. I'm good to go.
Yeah, awesome.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. I'm starting with my top one. That's this one. I will refresh it. And what I loved the most about this one was, the abstractness of this video, and it instantly reminded me of a Tim Burton video, like I was watching Beetlejuice or something, and that really triggered it for me, especially this shot. I found it really impressive. This one is from Martin Ciuda, and you really did a great job on this one. I like this.
Yeah, and I think it was like one of the first posting his entry, and that was really great, because I think when you submit early on a contest, you are like not influenced by the other submission or not trying to top the other, and that was really great from Martin to submit something really early.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Nature and technology combined, and this was a great piece. Very nice job, Martin. My second one, Patrice Guiz, and yeah, if I also showed this one, I really enjoyed this one. The mystiqueness of this and the contrast. I love those lines, the idea of those lines, and it's very mystical piece of art. So Patrice, good one on that one. I really love this. Absolutely good. So I've already told everything about this, so I'll skip for the next one. This is from Renegame, and it's Renegram, and I really like this one as well. Nice piece of contrast with the colors. So this one.
Yeah, that one's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. I really enjoyed that one. So
Yeah, there's so much great entries. I think after we saw all of your favorite, we will display some of the honorable mention, because there is so much awesome people that submitted work. I don't know how you picked. Maybe it was like just random, like 100 submission.
Yeah. I made a shortlist, and that shortlist could just it was still a list of 25 or 30 videos. So it was a really tough choice, this one.
Well, it's a good thing I kept my top 20 list.
Yeah, that's great.
So Patrice Luis, and very nice job, guys. Very nice. Let me stop sharing.
So top 20, should we get cozy? For all the top 20s?
Come, it's your time.
Yeah, it's my time. What can I say? What hasn't been said? But let's see. Let me pick the window here. I need. Where is it? Come on. Oh Lord, Firefox can't share non-Firefox screens. That's very cool. All right, hold on.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna have to migrate this over.
Yeah. Alan, it's too late to submit something.
All right.
It's just gonna hit render.
1 second, guys. We're about halfway there. Okay. Here we go. I guess we'll just share this window then. Oh no, now it's ignoring the...
Suspense.
Oh god.
Uh-oh.
Now Firefox is the problem because I denied it the ability to share something and now it's permanent. Thank you.
Oh, crap.
Technology.
I know exactly what you mean.
Where do
I got a confession to make while he's getting that worked out.
Sure.
I did not see Patrice. I did not see that video. I was like, and I saw it. The thing is I saw it like in the stream at some point on my Instagram. I was like, daggum, this is like really cool. And then I never
literally saw it.
And then I was like, man, I got to remember that. And then I went through the list, and I could swear that I picked every single one because I went through and I was like, okay, I saw this one, saw this one, saw this one, saw this one. Went through all of them. And then when you guys started showing that, I was like, oh crap, like. Because it was really cool. Like I remember seeing part of it, and I made a note to myself when I saw it, and it was because it was a while ago, and I was like, man, this is legit. Like this is pretty sweet. So, oopsie.
Disqualified, Stuart. What can I say?
I'm out. Good luck, guys. Hang on.
Oh
So
God, browsers. Why is this a thing? This is killing me. All right, Maxime, are you gonna? I'm sorry, I have to ask this for you, but can you maybe display the entries as I'm talking about them?
yeah, I will do it.
This is ridiculous.
I was
All
gonna
right.
say you could do that or get a mirror and put it on your webcam.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic idea. All right, so I'm just gonna put them. I'm gonna put the links in the chat.
TVs.
I'm gonna put the links in the chat as we go, Maxime. Please,
Okay.
thank you.
First one. I'm actually showing the video.
All right, you got to tell me when you start because the YouTube stream is so delayed for me.
Okay, it's you're already in the future.
Okay, well, Patrice's entry, obviously, that one is absolutely fantastic. I saw it on my feed like Stuart, but I actually noticed it was part of the contest.
How dare you?
I mean, you know, within this entire contest, I feel like people are always trying to balance quantity and quality. You can't do a long video because then you're just going to be totally off with your effects and your budget, and you're just going to run out of time. But I don't know. I don't know what Patrice did. Maybe he has a pact with the devil or something that he can turn back time or just generate it. But I mean, this is 1 minute and 55 of gorgeous shots, brilliant cinematography, the colors, the sharpness of it. You know, everything. I mean, Sava's already said everything, but this thing stood out to me. I mean, it's gorgeous as a whole. Just man, the mood in some of these shots. People overuse fog all the time, but I mean, this is I'm missing words to describe this in some parts of it.
Very relatable.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I didn't mention is like the use of green, which is like, I mean, it's not the easiest color to work with in this with these kind of images, and he made it work. Like it just works.
I mean, he managed to make green fog without making it look like a fart cloud, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's the God rays at the end too. I mean, like you said, it's a little anticlimactic, but I feel like, you know, the journey's the goal kind of with this thing.
Yeah.
He's giving us 1 minute and 55 seconds of gorgeous shots. If I were to complain at this point, it would be hypocritical of me because I have yet to publish something as stunning as this, to be honest.
Yeah, and I suggest that everyone should watch the video with the sound because the choice of music.
Oh yeah, he played so well together with the music too. That's commendable.
Choice number 2.
My second pick, I put it in the chat,
Okay.
is obviously Jean-Michel's, big VR thing that we already looked at. What immediately blew me away here is the detail, and I just, from the get-go, I assumed it was rendered in Clarice or something, but I don't think it is. And he just puts in the description here, new tools in Houdini 18.5 combination with my Gorilla render workflow. So obviously this guy is technically totally invested in this thing. He knows what he's talking about, and I mean, total pro. That's also why he's not my first choice. I kind of wanted to give it to somebody who's maybe a little bit more underground, but totally stunning entry. I mean, we've talked about this at length. This was the first. I went through the list of entries. And I mean, his being the second on the first page, I think immediately the first entry that totally stuck out to me, I wrote it down immediately. Gorgeous, just all in all gorgeous. The widescreen version is even more beautiful than this dumbed down Instagram crop. God knows we all hate this website. Yeah. And my third pick is my overlap with Stuzor here, I think, if I recall correctly. Put it in the chat. That's Tim Said's Misunderstood Dream. Another really long entry. I guess I'm the polar opposite to Mr. Locked and Loading here. I scroll past all the quick things, and the long things kind of keep me invested. There's just so much content here. To describe this would be like I would have to make like an analysis video. The shapes and compositions. I feel like if anything, this video is maybe lacking in aggressive color correction, but it's so long. It's such a journey. Like you said, based on a dream. I really like this guy. I mean, this is obviously another huge project that he was super invested in. Small story of a childhood dream that comes true, but with a shadow of melancholy, which expresses the feeling of having achieved a dream and at the same time having never achieved it. Story to it. It's big. It's beautiful. What else can you want? But, you know, these are just my top 3 picks. There were so many more, and I had to cut down my list multiple times. At first, I was going to, like, rate all of them, but I quickly realized that when I was, like, at, like, 25 entries on this notepad list that I couldn't pinpoint people anymore. And I started putting some of other people's top picks, like, somewhere in the middle or in the lower third.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I do have my 20 entries here, so I guess let's get to the rest.
Yeah, I think we saw the entries from everyone. So maybe what we could do before announcing I will pronounce it correctly this time, the winners. Is it correct, Alan?
I'm sorry. For everyone, just so you're aware, it's because earlier he's like, yeah, we're going to pick the wiener. And naturally, because I'm 5 years old, I had to. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I apologize.
But that was actually funny.
I hope so. Bringing death threats on me.
So yeah, maybe we could review some interesting entries. Maybe Chrome, you can suggest some of your top picks, and I can as well throw some that I think should deserve be displayed.
I'm already on my way.
Okay.
Okay, let me just grab the link here. Copy link location, and this should be one of them. This is by Alexander. His Instagram is Alex Les Submarine.
Yeah.
This is just another one of those. I'm like a sucker for this sort of. I don't know who really premiered it, but I always connect this sort of visual style that most people do with Octane. This the semi-realistic, dreamy style. I always connect that with like So My Soon or other Asian-based motion graphics artists that work a lot for the ad industry, I think. I'm just a sucker for this kind of look, so that's why this one is actually my number 4, so it's right up at the top 3.
Which one are we looking at? The Dream one?
Yeah, it's on the YouTube stream right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah,
sent the link like in our chat on the Hangouts.
Yeah,
Chrome
I mean,
sent
if
the link.
there's anything that I'd have to criticize, it's like the DAS model looks a little bit too much like a DAS model, and the grade could have been a little bit more aggressive, but that's it. I think it's
Yeah,
also a really
like
pretty
that one
progression.
too. I like that one too. I think for me, like it didn't make my top. Like I had it selected for a little while, but then it got voted out. I think mostly for like what the character actually looks like, just a little too generic, and the hair,
Yeah,
a little too. It's hard, man. It's hard doing human figures
Absolutely.
and getting that to sell CG humans, because it's like it's like really easy for anyone to pinpoint what's wrong so quickly, because we all see our face every single day. And so it's like, if you push it more in the digital realm, you can get away with it a little bit, but yours was like right on the edge of like digital and kind of a little bit more realistic. And so yeah, it didn't make my cut, but I thought it was dope too.
that's why I don't do it. That's why I don't do digital humans. It's too much work.
Yeah, I just
Have a stand-in.
I added like the Stefan one. Stefan was actually one of the previous winner of I think it was Dark Future contest, and he actually made an entry. I think it looks pretty great.
All right, I remember this one.
There's another one. Yeah, this one's also relatively high up for me. It's somewhere in this top 20 list.
Also on mine. Yeah, absolutely.
I also, obviously, I mean, right after Alex the Submarine is Martin Suda, which I think we already looked at. I think that was Locked and Loading's pick. I think, if I recall correctly. And then Family Busyness, Euphoria. I also have, I think, somebody that was not mentioned at all. So I'm going to put that into the chat for the next one.
Yeah, there is actually too much good entries, and I think I will share more of them into the Instagram page, and because yeah, we had more than 100 entries, and we can show all of them, but they are like all awesome.
All right. You're gonna have to tell me when you open the new link.
Yeah, I'm
'cause
actually
otherwise I'm just not gonna be talking.
I'm actually showing the Ilowi one.
Okay. Yeah. So the reason this one actually, it's in my top 10. Yeah, I thought that this guy, even though it's short and it's not, it's not overblown with effects and VDP simulations and whatever. I think this guy nailed down the way Razer actually renders their products perfectly. From the plastic shader and this is exactly what their products look like, what their advertisements look like. So this guy, for me, nailed down the Razer aspect of the contest the best out of everyone. But I don't know, due to shortness and simplicity, with Patrice Luis and how are you going to weigh that up? But still, it's very high up for me, and I really like this entry. I think he really nailed down the sort of like product showcase, the product rendering angle of it. I think it's super sleek and very, very. I mean, this could be an advertisement to some degree.
Yeah, I'm sharing another one, and I'm curious to hear what did you think about this, because if I will be a jury, it will be probably one of my favorites. That was the one from Massimo. I will show it.
That guy is right below that guy for me.
He was in my top. Yeah, I had 7 that
Cool.
I chose from, and he was in the 7. Yeah.
All
pretty
right,
cool.
let me open this. Yeah, that entry, also really gorgeous. I It's so hard to pick a good one because somebody will always come up and say, "Oh, what about this one?" You're like, yeah, I know. Oh, fuck, I know.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Simulation works well too. The materials are pretty. I also loved every single entry that sort of like mixed emissions into all the surfaces. There was that one from what was his name? Yeah, it's hard to know these. Whatever. It was one of them. Multiple of them did it, but
Nice, that pins it down.
Yeah, we can also give a special thanks to Luis from Doxia Studio because he has made live whole his entry, like streaming and doing it with his community, and I think it was a really great for the community, and I think it's always harder to create doing a live stream rather than doing yourself alone in the computer. So thank you, Luis, for streaming the creation of your entry.
That entry was also pretty high up for me, just because I love the Houdini to game engine workflow, and most of this is I think Houdini to Unreal. So I really liked seeing that. I mean, obviously, game engine representation is always superb, especially Unreal. There's so much that's happening right now in that space, but it just got pushed out of my top 3. What can I say?
I'm actually checking something, and we have
100 more submissions to review.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get it over with.
Like every one of you picked, number 1, 2, and 3, and not Alan. And we have Patrice and Jean-Michel coming 3 times.
Jean-Michel would be my 1 if I were to go 1, 2, 3. Just the amount of detail, it's pretty amazing.
He was my 1.
Okay, so okay, so
Done.
It's getting tighter.
Yeah. Suspense. So for Steph, Patrice is second, and he hasn't picked Jean-Michel. Jean-Michel is the top of Alan. Jean-Michel is also the top of David. Patrice is the top of Sava. Also the top of Cromfell. I would say, like, because of the top position, Patrice will be the first one, but
Congrats, Patrice.
He didn't confirm it yet. He said he would say.
yeah, because Stuzor didn't. So that one. So yeah, I would say like the winner of this contest is actually Patrice Louise.
Yeah.
Congrats, dude.
Awesome entry.
Yeah, very nice job, Patrice. Very nice.
So yeah,
right.
It was also one of my favorite too, and I was really surprised because there is this nice evolution of the color, switching from the white to the green. And the first time I watched this, I was a bit like a dick, and I was like, "Hey, did you just like forget about the green?" And I just
They're disqualified.
Nice.
So yeah.
Look at this guy. He's so underrated. He only has 290 followers.
Yeah,
Dude,
follow him.
That was something when I was watching these. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many amazing artists that I just don't know. There's like so many people that are so talented, and I'm like, I need to know more artists. Like that's what I got from all this. Wish I could know more people here.
They also need to yell more, though. They need to be louder. There's so many people who are in the underground who are absolutely talented, but they don't want to show themselves. Such a shame.
Yeah, the Patrice portfolio is just. I think we need to go on his art station and actually do like a.
Perhaps. I checked his Behance, and it's not like he's blowing up there either. So he doesn't seem to be, like a secret boss who just popped up and he's just small on Instagram. No, he's...
Yeah, hidden boss.
Wow, really cool work.
Yeah, congrats. So the second is Jean-Michel. Congrats, Jean-Michel. Like, it's really mind blowing, and I was even more mind blown by the breakdown. Really, really cool creation. So you must check Jean-Michel portfolio as well. Really high quality stuff. I'm throwing his website there. And yeah, he's doing a lot of thing with VR, and I think it give a really organic feels to his creation. And the third one, if I'm if I'm correct, was Team Set, so Elia. Congrats.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, really nice entry, and he really like take a big risk, like making something more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's incredibly ambitious, and it didn't suck. That's the point.
Yeah.
If I can be that blatant.
I think that, like, I'll just say this because, I review reels all day long when I'm looking to hire artists, and I'll just say that that's usually the problem most artists in the beginning of their career do, is they try to over deliver and do some kind of short film for their one shot or whatever, and it's essentially the longer the shot, the more risk you're putting into making it suck. And so when you actually pull that off and do something that's really good and it's quite long, and as long as there's a reason for it being so long, then that's really impressive, because most people, they end up with a 5-minute reel of like one shot, and it's just this slow motion person running in a run cycle, or camera moving so slow just because they're just missing their beats and dragging things on, and if anything, it exposes like all the problems with their shots. So it's really cool.
Yeah,
It's the same at university. Like at the motion graphics module that we had, just planning out this huge thing, because everybody's always got stories in their head. Everybody's like always mentally building ahead, but they don't really take the time into account. And even if they work for like 3 months, the entire module, when you're a beginner and you don't know anything, you can plan something like that. And if you really know your render engine, if you really know your main DCC, like if you work in cinema, if you really know the ins and outs of everything, you can plan that. But it's the same in university. People just plan too big. So
yeah. Just before we dive into a short talk, I would say that we had a lot of entries, and that we will soon, with the MDC team, create maybe a small website or a small Behance project grouping everyone, so you could be able to see all the entries. And as you can see, there is a lot, and we didn't displayed all, and truly it really needs to be I don't have words, so yeah, just check check the MDC, and soon you will be able to find all the entries and enjoy them. So
Cool.
yeah, I have a few questions for you guys before closing this live, and it's more quick tips for all the people that have done entries, and it could be like dumb question, but according to you, like, how would you approach a contest and actually try to win? So
Oh shit.
Who wants
Yeah.
to start?
I would make something on my computer and pray that it wins.
Well, so just for context, so you're saying like if we were to enter a contest, like what would we do to try and win the contest?
Yeah, make what
Mhm.
you should do when you do a contest, and that could be also quick tips like following the contest rules, like you can follow the client thing. What would you do?
Yeah.
How much
That's a good
try?
question.
How much time? Because most of the contests are things you do on the side.
Okay, I'll go first.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll just quickly say, I mean, first of all, yeah, do your research, both with looking at the contest rules, but also like, let's say if it is for a client, like aligning what you're doing with what they've done in the past, because it's a language and you're trying to speak that language rather than trying to just do this cool idea that you have and it's completely off. Because it's good practice in general. As a commercial artist, you're always going to be aligning your creativity with someone's need, and the more that you do that, the more it's going to resonate. But on top of that, I think it's important to look at other people's work, both for inspiration, but also for polarization. So you want to look at how much I can stand out by doing something unique rather than doing what everyone else has done before. So if you see a lot of trends, then maybe you want to try and step away from that. That's the do not repeat list. I think also when it comes to just in general, like timing, like all the key things that a lot of us tend to neglect, they play such a key role. So just because in this case, like 2 minutes has been great, but like 2 minutes is a chance for you to expose all the problems or all the missed opportunities that you could do something that's only 10 seconds, but it hits all those beats and it really kind of makes people be like, whoa, I got to see that again and again. And each time they're getting something new from it. So I think that sometimes less is more, but it's really something that, yeah, you just want to make sure that what you're doing is unique, but it's still aligned 100% with the client. And the thing is too, that a lot of times if you do it right, then this is your chance to then put that in front of that client and say, hey, I did this for a contest, but what do you think? And that's something to them. It's just it's proven already, but it's just like, wow, this is exactly what we're looking for. And that's then how you get in front of a client and get work and get repeat work. So yeah, I could go on, but you guys jump in.
Yeah. You go.
Just quickly attach something to that, because he said it's actually funny because this exact thing happened to me. I did a contest, or not I don't know, was it a contest? It was more like a collaboration sort of thing. Digital Ridge did these like loop collaborations, and I just jumped in on that like twice, but I only did it for real one time. And I put a bunch of effort into my loop. It kind of just like everybody made a loop, and the loop it like looped into each other. So different people's loops would loop into each other, and it was just at the end it was just one big video, and it was always the loop would always go to one artist and then the next one. Right. And I actually got a job out of that, making advertisement videos for Fnatic. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with them, but they're like a gaming sort of group, and that came out of me putting like this 5-second piece loop in that collaboration. So I mean, a contest like that, at the end of the day, it's not just about winning the contest, it's also about taking the time and taking the pressure of this contest and kind of forming it into whatever you produce and put into it. And at the end of the day, it's still a strong part of your portfolio if you really put time into it.
Hell yeah.
The importance of making personal work. So it's,
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say research your judges. Like right now, if I was going to do a contest and Stuzor was the judge, I would make a horse, and I figured I'd win. No, I agree with everything everybody said here. I think I think it's also important to take a look at contests as artists. And I think it's really hard to say here's a blanketed thing that every artist should follow to try to win a competition of some sort, because there's so many different levels and skill sets artists have. You know, I would give different advice to a junior artist than I would someone who's a more senior advanced artist. You know, I would say, you know, for a junior artist or someone young and or someone starting out trying to get kind of more notoriety and get their name out there more, I always say, you know, simplify your concept, simplify your ideas, and work on one scene and just nailing that and perfecting that, and then building on. I see a lot of people stretch themselves too big, and they have this really grand idea, and it's like, cool, that was 2 minutes of like average. If you did like 30 seconds or even 40 seconds or something like that, or 15 seconds, it could have been epic and super unique and one of a kind and perfect. So that's always my thought is like, you know, I'd rather have 30 seconds of greatness than 2 minutes of okay work. And so I would say like consolidate your ideas and kind of pull everything together rather than, you know, reach for the sky on something and just have it come up a little short. I'd say that was my first thing. My second thing is like, you know, try to avoid doing competitions and contests where they should just be hiring an artist to do the work anyway. You see this happen a lot. Where like, you know, I think Shaq had one. It was like, do this and you have a chance of winning. It was like a couple $100. It's like, you got to be kidding me. You should pay an artist like, just hire an artist, like ask people to pitch, or if you want, and then hire the best person for the job. So I think, you know, that's important also. Don't just go and just start submitting stuff to any competition or contest. Actually make sure that it's like, it's artists and it's for your creativity and getting your name out there, and not like as a way of like free promotion and advertising for somebody else. So I thought this competition was cool. I thought it put the power back into the artist's hands, and that's why I was like, yeah, sure, I'll jump on this. But I think that's a really important spot, is like, don't just be like, I want the chance to win the $10,000. It's like, yeah, but like you should just be getting paid to do that anyway. So that's my rant. Sorry.
And a good one at that.
Yeah, very good one.
Yeah.
I guess from my perspective, like my answer is a bit of a twofold answer. I guess it's just from my previous experience of kind of competitions. The thing that kind of worked for me in the past was really, it was a bit of a different thing. It was kind of an ArcViz competition. It was more to do with architecture. But it was what Alan said, was kind of researching the competition itself and researching what the previous year's submissions have been. And for the most part, it's all been pretty standard. So what I was able to do was just kind of expand on that and bring in things that were slightly different, where at the time I was kind of jumping back and forth between like ArcViz and motion design. So kind of by merging those two together, there was a new thing that wasn't really present in the past, or that kind of in that quantity, I think. So it's just like, I guess, trying to stand out, trying to research kind of what the usual approach is, and then trying to stand out from that, but also trying to be true to yourself and create a piece that's that like it's going to be a very strong portfolio piece for yourself. More in terms of like I'd say like the creativity behind it, something that's well, I guess it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. Like if you're trying to achieve a portfolio piece that shows your technical skills, go that route. But if you're trying to achieve a portfolio piece that shows who you are as a creative and what your kind of creative sensibilities are, I would say focus on that side. The other thing is what Stuart said, and I feel like that pretty much hits the nail on the head, is just try to make something on a computer and hope it wins. Because to me, that encapsulates perfectly like the fun behind all of it. Like it's just like you can go in super, you know, like methodical and try to think of every possible angle and try to like appease to everyone's tastes and judges and whatnot. But like it should be fun at the end of the day. It should be like you having fun and expressing yourself and doing whatever. Like, you know, like as people would say, just fuck it, just do whatever you want. Like that I feel is a really big part of it, because you're kind of doing something for the fun of it. You're not expecting anything too much from it, and then like if amazing things happen, like great. If not, you're not gonna get disappointed because you weren't expecting something to happen right out of that straight away. So yeah, that should be. I don't know if any of it makes sense, but hopefully that's helpful to somebody.
Can you repeat that? I missed it.
What was that?
It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you very much. Another question is more about colors, because you said earlier that green is not the easiest color to approach. So how would you guys approach the green color if it was an actual job?
Oh, I just rip off Patrice.
Oh God. I did it once, and like I said, it was fart clouds. I mean, green is tough to work with when it's not plants.
What's kind of cool that I found is some post work that you can do. Like you can set your lights to, like in Octane anyway, you can render out like lights individually, so you can take them in. So let's just say you rendered out like a white standard light, and then you can go in and you can slap like a tint on it or a hue, I can't remember, and then you can like essentially just change the complete lighting of your scenes and stuff like that. So I think if anything has like an emission for like any like stuff moving across landscapes and stuff like that, you can actually have like a light pass, and you can kind of to an extent go in and then tweak that to like different colors and just see what like matches and stuff. I don't know. So that way, like if you're like, hey, this green is like needs to be more forest green or like more neon green, stuff like that. Sometimes you have more flexibility in that aspect. So you don't have to be like, oh crap, I just rendered out a minute long video with this neon green, looks like complete crap. Like you can go in to some extent. And so that's like a little tip, I guess, that I actually use that a lot in my own stuff, is I use those light passes, because if sometimes lights look weird or they're too strong or they're too soft or they're the wrong color, you can always kind of tweak them a little bit. But green, yeah, that's, I don't know. It's, see that
Fix
being
it in post.
Fix it in post, man.
It depends on what the scene is, what the kind of what the scenario is. If you can play with additional colors, like go complementary, that helps. That helps a lot. But yeah, it just really depends on what it is. Like with this contest, like I guess one of the guidelines was to have that kind of a stark thing with the greens. So you're only kind of limited to just using greens. Green on black, kind of. I mean, it looks like it kind of works in that kind of producty kind of a space. But if you do get a chance to play around with other colors, like that's probably the best thing for me, is just kind of finding a complementary scheme that works.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, it really depends on the scenario, because like if you're looking more in a real world, like nature green isn't a big deal. It's just in other situations it's quite alien, because you aren't really utilizing it for many things, like for interiors. So outside, like in nature, it's more either suppressing other colors or introducing warms as well, such as whether it's oranges and yellows. So it's not too difficult at all. But with sci-fi, any abstract work, anything more in that realm, usually it ends up being they're always kind of the same thing, where it's darkly lit, so that way the green actually ends up becoming the kind of primary focus of everything. So usually you play on that. Everything else is more monochromatic, and you're punching up your greens, you're using that to splash light on everything else. And unfortunately, it kind of means that it all kind of looks the same. So that's essentially a style. It's kind of like sci-fi green is really how you look at it. So the good thing about that is kind of like where you use like oranges and teals together. There are certain colors that you can introduce, such as reds or not reds but oranges, that do work well, such as well as blues too. So you can kind of look at secondary colors that complement the greens that you can play with. But like I said, the sci-fi, it's always kind of the same thing. It's more monochromatic in that way. You just punch out your greens, you can make them glow, or you can else have that kind of splash light on everything else. So it's kind of the style that you end up using throughout all the stuff that we've all seen before, but we know very well.
Thanks. Yeah, that's an interesting question. And another question is more interesting for the community and for me, is according to you, if we do or anyone do contest or want to do contests with their community, what's a good contest? What, according to you, defines the thing that you want to see and the thing that you want to avoid in a contest?
I'll just say, I'll throw this out there. Original ideas is what we don't want to see. I'm kidding. Is what we do want to see. So, because I think it's very easy to push your skills and say, hey, I'm talented, but, we're doing a car one this time around or whatever else. But I think that what's rewarding for you as an artist as well as for everyone else is where someone gives you a theme, but it's a chance to actually come up with something creative that either no one's seen before, or it's a way to tell a story, even with a still image of what you're doing. So I think it's very easy to say, we're going to do asteroids hitting a city, but that isn't really going to push you as an artist. It might get you to show off what you can do technically, but when you're doing something, even when everyone else is expecting you to do something, and you come out of the left field doing something completely different, which is still aligned with the brief, then that just shows like how flexible you are. And that to me also means that if you're hired creatively, you're going to be able to come up with your own ideas. You're going to be able to think on your feet. It's not just about following direction, that you can actually add to the conversation. So that's what I think is really critical.
Couldn't agree more, especially in the days where, like the technical side of things is getting easier and easier by the day. Like the creative side of things is really what becomes the most important for me, at least. So yeah, definitely agree with that.
So yeah, I'm currently displaying live some of the other entries, and yeah, so much good things. Yeah, thanks again, guys, for being there today. I think I will stay a bit to keep showing the entries. I don't want you to stay more if you have something to do. So, but you can stay if you want.
I'll be with you.
Okay.
I'll be here.
I'll stick
Anyone
up
else?
for a few. I'll stick up for a few more minutes.
I gotta run, so I'll be But again, thanks everyone for letting me be a part of this. This is really fun, and
Awesome, yeah.
amazing work, everyone. So cool.
Yeah, for sure.
An honor
Thank
to
you,
have you.
guys.
Thank you for coming.
Cool. Yeah, and you guys hit me up. Let's stay in touch. All right. Thanks. everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
We're losing you too, Stuart.
Have a
All
nice,
right, guys. I'll talk to you
have a
later.
nice ride.
Yeah, it was nice finally seeing your face.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, I'm glad it wasn't too offensive. So, all right, see you guys.
See
Cheers,
ya.
All right, see you.
All right.
I'm next.
Bye,
See you, everybody.
David.
Yeah, nice hanging out with you guys. Hope we can do it again
Bye, David.
soon.
That
All
that
right.
was great. Bye.
David.
Yeah, also Steph, I think you can talk a bit about the motion graphics website, Motion Design Awards.
Oh.
Because
Yeah. Also a little bit in it's an award website, but then for not themed on things like this, but more on everybody's commercial work or their own free work. So it's we maybe you could put it up or
yeah, I can display. You can share your screen, and I can also announce the people that will get an entry on Motion Design Awards, because the top 15 selection get an access to your site.
Nice.
yeah.
So I guess, while we're kind of waiting on that, just to pose a question there. I'm not sure if that's like a topic of this discussion. Feel free to shut me up, Max, if I'm out of line. But just in terms of like the whole situation, obviously worldwide, like, have you guys like seen any changes globally or anything like that? Like just in terms of like how the whole I guess, industry is evolving or anything like that you want to share that might be interesting?
Steph, as you have a studio, you can you can start.
Yeah, sorry, can you repeat that one more time, Sava?
No, just in terms of the like how COVID has impacted the whole industry. Like do you see any changes in terms of like I guess the future and how you're going to be running the studio and stuff like that? Like just in general, I guess any thoughts or anything interesting you might have.
Yeah, well, we got hit pretty hard by COVID, and especially in the first in the springtime. But well, we're animation and a film studio, so we do a lot of camera work there as well. And the film part completely collapsed in spring, but we've also managed to do a lot of live streaming and all that kind of stuff. So it made us we had to be looking out for more opportunities and all that kind of stuff, and it resulted in that we are extremely busy at this moment. But but it's no, live streaming. It's you have to want it. It's not my preferences, so it's don't
want to be a downer with this topic, but I was just mainly interested in like just the whole kind of working from home scenario and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, like things have been like I guess easy for me because I am working from home usually, but just in terms of like larger studios and larger teams working remotely and how that has been going, like that's always stuff that's kind of interesting hearing about, I guess, for me. Cool.
Working from home was definitely a challenge, but it's well, we've managed.
I don't know how relevant it is, but I just had my last day of government service. I was in service for the last 9 months, and with the whole COVID thing, we had a lot of in-person interactions. We did a lot of sort of seminar type stuff that I ended up being in charge of, and digitalizing all of that, all of the assets, all of the stuff that we used to teach. It was a lot of work, but we pulled through, and I mean, there were a lot of people who were just totally alien to the concept of, Zoom and online seminars. But for every time that anybody was anxious about not being able to do something, it turned out to be just fine in terms of execution. So I feel like there's a lot of anxiety going around. There's a lot of, everybody's like super scared of it. But intuition at the end of the day saved almost everything. And a lot of people underestimate how intuitive they can be with teachings or their seminar, or, like communicating over the computer. And I'm sort of like on professionally in terms of 3D and stuff. I'm on Sava's end because I'm a student, and when I do work, I work in a very limited capacity, and I only work from home, so I don't know it any other way. But in this team of like government officials, nobody was used to working from home, and it was a total shift for everybody. But I mean, over the course of a couple months, we managed to smooth it out, and it wasn't a problem. And I feel like in this art space for studios, I project it should be easier because these people actually know how to use computers. We had a huge issue with that type of stuff. Everybody, it was so daunting for some of these people to even touch this stuff, but it worked out regardless. So if they can do it, anybody can.
And there is more and more online solutions, like for example, website like Frame.io, where you can review, you can draw on top of the render. So I'm curious to know about you, Sava, as you work on bigger projects than me, like how, as an art director, or how you can manage such big teams working from home.
No, it's I mean, I do very little managing. I have my production team to thank for that. I mean, basically at Access, like we use Shotgun, which is like a powerhouse tool in terms of like online reviews and stuff like that. I believe Frame.io is like the newer addition to kind of like a similar tool. I haven't used it before, but I know it. I know like what it does. Shotgun is just like for bigger projects. It's a godsend because you can configure it. I don't really understand it. Like honestly, like I can't talk about it in depth. I only use it for reviews. But basically, you have your entire tracking, scheduling, all of your artists, you can open projects from it directly. You have all of your notes there. Everything is very, very organizable. And that like to me, that really didn't really change massively because like with Access, I am on a remote working basis. So I still work from home. And the only thing that changed was on occasion, I was visiting the studio for like motion capture shoots and for like some critical moments in I guess the production pipeline where it makes more sense for me to be there on the floor. Like in that respect, it didn't really change much. However, like I still miss that a lot. And I know a lot of the, like for me, I'm used to working from home because I've always worked from home and I have a pretty good system in place. And I mean, I wouldn't even say a system. It's just a discipline for me. Like I like my space here. I like to work from here. But a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people do need their breaks. They need the walk to work and back. They maybe don't have a setup at home that they can use. They don't have like a separate space that they can isolate from, the rest of the pesky family. Like you don't have your space to focus in, and that can be very hard. Like and that's even like by having that, like still like you might not be a type that's very comfortable in working from home. You might be like just being next to your bedroom and your couch. It might be way more inviting than sitting next to the computer. But when you go actually to a workplace, you have that mental disconnect. Oh, all right, this is a workplace. I've kind of got here, so you're kind of in a different headspace there. I know like there's been like loads of fun stories with like some of my coworkers from Access, where there have been people who literally like they would get up in the morning, they would get dressed. They go down, grab a cup of coffee for like to take away. They do a little walk around the building, and they go back inside, back to their apartment, and they're like, "All right, I'm ready for work." So it's like that mental switch of like, "All right, I showered, I put my clothes on, I got a coffee, I walked around, and I got to work, and now I'm at work."
That's a good one.
It's like it's like little stuff like that where like if you are having troubles with that, like you need to find a way to kind of recreate in a sense like what your usual kind of I guess schedule was.
That's actually a good one.
Yeah, it's really a difficult situation for a lot of people, but at the same time there's been amazing things I think where I think in general in the industry like like the whole kind of you had to be there kind of a thing, like you had to work from the studio. I feel now after this, you're going to have way more opportunities. If you want to work from home, you're going to be able to work from home.
So I'm far more open for that now.
Yeah. So for a lot of people who wanted that before but couldn't have it, I feel like now is probably that's gonna start opening up more and more. Wasn't it like Microsoft announced like all of their employees, like if they want to work from home, they can going forward. So that's like the first step in that direction. But that's the whole thing. Like it's like depending on the level of the studio and depending on the type of work, it's not always so like simple. There's a lot of times, like specifically like with Access, the whole remote working thing. The biggest problem wasn't like getting the people in the studio or like setting up remote working solutions or whatever. The biggest problem is like secure projects. We have high security level on specific projects that have a very, very high level of security, which means basically you can't have internet access, for example, on the machine that you're using. So how are you gonna connect in and dial in remotely if you can't have internet connection there? So it's like stuff like that. That's probably like the biggest problem, and I would assume like that's probably the case for the big NPCs and whatnot that work on all the Marvel films that are as high security as you can possibly get. But yeah, I mean, it's all really changing. Like this whole situation. I mean, it sucks hard, but I believe like it's opened up a lot of new interesting things and a lot of new kind of solutions that probably would have taken a while longer to happen, kind of in the natural course, I guess.
Cool.
That's my ramble.
You're good at that.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Steph, we were talking about Motion Design Awards, so maybe you want to talk about more about how it works, what's the new update on the website, what's going on, and what's the future.
Well, we have a bunch of new jury members. So we're for those of you who don't know it, the Motion Design Awards is a website where you can submit your work and it will be reviewed by a very high standard jury, and it's like a competition, but then we are sending out daily awards and video of the day and video of the month, and eventually video of the year. So it's it's a contest, and it's we're over 100 jury members, Max as well. So it's did you mention it already, Max? We're giving away 15 credits for the top 15. So it's
yeah, I actually announced it in the chat. So the top 15 will get an access to the design awards, Motion Design Awards, and yeah, I will also add it add the list in the YouTube description as well once the live is finished, so every people could be able to check.
Great, awesome.
Talking about technologies, I know you guys are geeks, and I'm curious to know what you are currently excited about to test in your workflows. Is it VR? Is it the new graphic cards?
Dude, Unreal Engine all the way.
It's RTX, and stuff like it, and also AI, the buzzwords of right now.
Yeah. Unreal Engine for me, definitely. Like I've been playing around in it for a while now, and yeah, it's just with Blender, like Blender was one thing that really kind of in my 12 years of working in 3D at the moment. In my 12 years, like just starting to learn Blender like a year ago, maybe I was completely blown away by how 3D can be fun again. So yes. that was a really nice kind of wake up call. But then Unreal is just in terms of the potential for, just like streamlining so many things about 3D that are kind of the bottlenecks and that killed the joy of the process for me. Unreal immediately like took that away, and just the fact that you can, if you have an asset library prepared, the fact that you can knock off environments in like the fastest fashion ever, and then the fact that you can in real time explore cinematography is basically a godsend. Just the biggest problem with animation from like ever is just in terms of cinematography, the fact that your layout or your kind of staging and like shot compositions were always separated from the actual lighting and rendering by like months and months of time. But like lighting is such an integral part of cinematography. It's like the most important part of cinematography. And you were basically like in traditional animation, you were missing out on that because you just had to, compose your shots to geometry, to your boring grayscale viewports. And then when you have everything done, like 5 months down the road, then you're going to start lighting it, and then you're going to start to figure out the lighting. But if you have the scene lit from the start and it all works real time, you're basically like on a live action set. You're seeing things that you wouldn't normally see. Like you're seeing reflections, you're seeing shadows, you're seeing like shapes and stuff that you wouldn't normally get, and that immediately sparks up that other kind of creative side. Like, oh, we can frame it like this, or we can frame it like that, or maybe this thing acts as a foreshadowing for what's going to happen in the next scene. And you're never going to get that by looking at a grayscale scene. So that's where it was just like, I mean, really Octane did that for me a while ago, just in terms of like how responsive the kind of the imaging was. But with complete real time in Unreal is just even better. So
it's a whole other world, yeah.
Yeah, and literally like I think like the first time like I was really like hesitant to go into Unreal, and I hated it. I still hate it for specific parts. But once you get through that initial block of it being completely different to any other 3D software you've ever used, it becomes so liberating. Like the first time I've kicked off like a 4K render and it delivered in like a minute, and I was like, I got emotional. I was like, I've been waiting for this all my life, and I couldn't believe it was done so fast. I literally couldn't believe it. So yeah, it's like stuff like that. That's really like taking away all the pain really, and making it fun again. Making it not, you don't have to wait for the unimportant parts, and you have more time to play around with the creative side of things. So yeah, really exciting stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blender changed you said 3D can be fun again, and
Oh yeah.
right now, like since I switched, I was on Octane before, and I am just so sick of them neglecting UV-based workflows, so I just stopped using it. And I switched to Blender, and just the combination of having cycles and Eevee changed my life, and being able to have Eevee, which is basically a game engine visually, being able to have that as your viewport. I mean, hello, has anybody looked at the Cinema Octane viewport?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that thing? It's impossible to figure out anything in there. I mean, it's a complete joke. I mean, I get it, third-party render engine and stuff, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like Eevee for me is just sorry. Go ahead.
And now I feel rude. No, I just wanted to say that with Cinema and Octane, you always have to think if you have a window that's Cinema and you have like your Octane viewport, and it always has to be separate from your editor. In Blender, you can just make your editor Cycles or Eevee or whatever, and you can. It's crazy how people say like, oh, Cycles is so much slower than Octane. But it's actually more responsive in the editor. I have Cycles running in like a 2K by 2K editor, and it's totally fine because the Blender people actually give a shit about how their stuff works. It's people say like, oh, this software is free, this can't be good, but it's incredible how much willpower is actually behind that, and how much more they actually care about their software than a company that's getting money regardless because people are subscribed to them anyway.
Yeah.
It's a hot take.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, I've never used Cinema, so I don't know, but I'm in a similar boat with 3ds Max. But no, I mean, Blender for me, like it's really like just for the type of work I do, like just in terms of the previs, like you can't really beat it now. Like Blender and Eevee is just the fastest, most intuitive way to make previs, and the most creative way you can do. You have everything in front of you. You have all the lighting indications, and it's absolutely. It's definitely been a game changer for me. So
I feel like Blender shading in general, it gives you access to more things than an engine like Octane, I think, to a point where you can take this geometry data and back-facing, you can use that as a mask, and the vector math is so much more accessible. It's so much easier to understand. I'm sure everybody here is familiar with Ian Hubert. But he has a Discord server for paying Patreons and other people. But you kind of in the paying section, you get this condensed conglomerate of people who really want to produce stuff. And there are some really young people in there who already understand vector math just because it's so easy in Blender. And you can fake so much shading in Eevee and have it still render at like 2 seconds a frame. In 3 days, I recently rendered out 15 minutes of visuals because I used Eevee. That's impossible otherwise.
Well, unless you use Unreal, though. No, but it is. I said unless you use Unreal, though, then you get them in.
Yeah. No, that's the next step, sure. But Eevee and
3
Blender,
days, 15 minutes.
Unreal is like sort of a different beast. You can kind of be scared of that because it's a different working environment. But
Definitely.
Blender and Eevee, it's just like any other, just like if you're working anywhere else, and people they don't want to switch from Cinema because they think Blender is going to be so different, but it's really not.
Oh no.
And I haven't touched Cinema in months now because I don't care anymore.
What's about like the camera workflows and animating in Blender?
There's a lot of people that have they're used to the context sort of camera. You kind of press Alt and you use your mouse, and wherever your cursor is, the camera rotates around in Cinema. But that's not the industry standard. This context-aware camera. In Maya, you have the pivot point. In Blender, you have the pivot point. Just get used to it. I see a lot of people. That's like the main thing that turns them off in Blender. They don't know how to use navigation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that hard.
It's not that hard, and they make it extra easy for you when you open it up for the first time. They're saying like, "Oh, what software are you using?" And I say 3ds Max. You're like, "Great, here's your Blender experience with a 3ds Max navigation and shortcut schemes." So that's perfect. Like I don't have that step of having to adjust to Blender's navigation because I'm so fluid in kind of 3ds Max, and I don't want to because it just doesn't work for me. I'm not going to erase my previous 10 years of kind of muscle memory. So that's amazing. Like they make it super easy for you if you are transitioning from a different software to kind of just straight up go into it. I think with me, like, I mean, I haven't like that. I am missing out on things in Blender because I am using I'm not using its own default shortcuts, because that's the biggest thing when I said like 3D can be fun again. Like I'm not using it. I'm just using it for previs at the moment. So I don't know any of those. Like I haven't delved into the depth of shading and whatnot. But just in terms of like how everything is assembled together, like how every aspect of the software works. Like your shortcuts, like for whatever, like Shift A to add whatever piece of geometry in the scene. It's the same thing to add a node in the shader editor. It's like G for grabbing and whatnot. It's the same thing in the actual curves editor for animations. Yeah. The simplest things like that, which are kind of way more intuitive than I've seen in any other software and way like unique. You've never seen that stuff before as well, and it works. A very, very simple thing which I never noticed I was bothered by before, but after Blender, I just can't go back. Like in Blender, when you're moving keys around in your kind of curve editor, like you're just G and then you're just moving your mouse. You don't have to press down.
Middle mouse button. Middle mouse button.
Middle mouse or left mouse. Like in Max, it's left mouse button.
Okay,
but either way, like you didn't even notice that before, but you had to press it down. You had to hold it down. You're fucking up your tendons, and you're holding it down and moving it along. And this, you just press G, and you just easily move your mouse.
And you press Shift and Control to speed it up or slow it down.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Oh yeah.
You can go in steps. You can rotate something. You just press the key. You hold Control. You move your mouse 45 degrees. You're done.
Yeah.
You instance something. Alt D. In Cinema, you have to there's an instance object and whatever. It's insane.
I like how we took over the stream and just made it a rant.
A Blender promotional.
Yeah, but it's a really good point because that's the thing. Like you don't really think about those things, but like at the end of the day, they stack up, and it's just insane how such a simple change from holding down a mouse button or not makes such a huge difference in the whole experience of using it. I mean, it's just
while you're editing a model, you can spawn a primitive, and it's in the model. You don't have to join them. It's just in there.
Simple stuff.
Hey guys, I'm gonna break you up. I'm out.
Okay, Steph.
Thanks a lot. It was fun. Max, for having me.
Glad to have you. That was awesome. Yeah.
And everybody in the stream. Bye, guys.
It was really nice to have you. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna be the next guy out. Actually,
all right.
Sure.
It's been 2 hours and it's been a long day.
Man.
Thanks
I went into this tired.
But yeah, thanks for having me, and to anybody that's still watching, like amazing work all around on the
Yeah,
conference.
it's great to have you. Big fan.
It was.
By the way.
It was. Cheers. All right,
Bye.
well, we'll catch up soon, guys. Cheers. Bye bye.
Thanks
Yeah,
again. Bye.
catch up soon. Bye. Man, that was great.
Yeah, it's still great. I'm still
I'm sorry, Max. Okay, it's still great.
Yeah, I'm still displaying the
Yeah, I'm watching it.
the contest entries, and there is so much good things, and
This one reminds me of Eka's entry to Andrei Lebrov's contest.
yeah, and yeah, thanks to Andrei, because I actually discovered Razer laptop with him, because when we invited him to the Video Copilot Live in Barcelona, he was actually using one, and a part of his presentation was how he actually works, controlling in
I remember that.
in remote his bigger computers and just doing everything from a laptop. And I was,
oh yeah, it's a great laptop.
Yeah, that's great. There is like nearly 3,000 QD cores, and that's really a bunch for.
I was recently thinking about it, because the price is not that far off compared to other high performance laptops, and there are some great model variants on the Razer Blade with like big screens. You can get big screen, high refresh rate, hardware's good. I mean,
Yeah, and the best point to me is actually that you can upgrade it. Like you can access all the components and change them. So if you want to go, for example, to 64 gigabyte of RAM, you will just have to buy it on Amazon for 200 euros and just upgrade your computer. While
it's body wise, it's basically a MacBook, but you actually have control over the hardware.
Yeah, exactly.
So sleek too. Eventually, I'm gonna get one. I'm telling you, eventually. At some point, I'm gonna need it.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I'm curious to see if they will like integrate the new graphic cards into it.
Oh yeah, I think there are already models. I mean, not 3000 series models, but there were models for the 2000 series. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna make mobile 3000 series too. It's a matter of time. I mean, right now everything's so up in the air with the supply issues. I wouldn't hold my breath right this second, but I'm sure it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think Dorian is asking some feedbacks on his work, so maybe you can.
Oh, are we gonna do a feedback round with Chromefeld once again? Didn't we already do this at some point before? Is this the one?
Yeah, I think that's the one, and if I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat. But yeah, you can.
All right, I'm just gonna watch through it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. And I'm displaying.
Is that weed at the beginning?
Creations.
Oh God, here's the webcam. I think this. I feel like why this didn't make it for me. It's too fast paced. If you just slowed this shot down, it would be totally all right. If you slowed this down by like half speed, that would be a great like ad shot.
Yeah.
It's a great ad shot. I mean, if you just up your lighting game a little bit, you can totally get in on that advertising business with that. Just needs a little bit more rim light, a little bit more punch.
Yeah.
The animation was good. It was a little too fast paced, but all you have to do is drag the graph and make it a little bit slower. That's all.
There is
this one
actually the fun entry by Arlind Braca, who made something with humor, and he was like the only one. So that was cool.
Yeah, what was jarring to me about this entry was the music choice or the sound effects choice. Like I think at some point here it's just sort of strange.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep up with the stream because I know I'm probably delayed.
Yeah, I think there is like more than 5 second delay.
Man, people are just gonna have to live with that, I guess.
Yeah.
The Magical Forest. Yeah, I mean, graphical high fidelity, definitely. There's a lot of detail going around. There's the shader things happening, but it was sort of like a topic miss for me. There wasn't a lot. I mean, Strange Universe could be anything, but our finalists were sort of like, there was the green element, there was the sort of technical element always in it, which doesn't make the other entries bad, but it's for some people. It's for me. It was a question of topic. So many. Oh, it's crazy. I don't know if you remember, but I was gonna do sort of like a contest at some point. I was gonna do a contest. I just couldn't do it because of time restraints. I still feel bad about it because I can't, I had like the winnings codes and everything lined up, but I just couldn't get around to make the scenes. It was gonna be like a loop thing, but I couldn't figure out an interesting way to do it, and I didn't just want to repeat what Digital Ridge did. But I also got so many people. I think it was like 70 people who asked to be in on this contest, and at that point, you're asking yourself like, "Oh my God, how am I going to fit 70 loops that people make into a video? It's going to be like a 10-minute long video. Who wants to watch that?" The mass of people is insane, but I'm gonna make up for that at some point. Yeah, it was so many entries, and I had to watch them all in like 2 hours. That was tough. Not gonna lie. At the end, I did start I just looked into them, and if they didn't look like they were gonna break my top 10, I did that for like the last 20 tabs that I had opened. If they didn't make my top 10, I just closed the tab. I saw this one on the feed too. Very pretty. The one with the glowing balls moving around reminds me of a typical Houdini sort of experiment that you would do. Obviously, Massimo, we already talked about this guy. I mean, that's a gorgeous entry, gorgeously rendered. I love this. I always love it when people mix emission into non-emissive materials because it's something that was always kind of a bitch to do in Octane. But you just love seeing it. The RSWN. Yeah, actually a lot of sort of more traditional motion graphics entries I saw, which I didn't expect. I thought this was going to be a lot of 3D, but I suppose the nature of the motion design community also attracts a lot of 2D animators. There was actually a lot of 2D content in here as well. Yeah, the hardware, 3D Terminal. I also really like this entry. This one has a really unique style that no other entry has. The flat shading, the bright lighting, it's really stark in that sense. The color choice, I feel like that could already be like a backdrop to an advertisement or something. I was thinking of Spotify the entire time when I watched that. You should probably sue for royalties at that point. AMT alt. For me, this was kind of one of the more strange ones. I don't know why he chose that bright pink violet-ish tone of color. If he probably just stuck with green, that would have made the composition stick a lot. But I mean, color is something that we all learn about. God knows, when I was just starting out, my shit sucked. Absolutely. So probably come back for a context next year or something, and you're gonna score a lot higher. Just don't let my not positive feedback hold you back at all. The texturing on these whales is cool. I'm looking at the bandana boy. The bandana boy, yeah.
Yeah, so Maxim in the chat, Maxim Afani, is asking how much entries did we recite for the Strange Universe contest, and it was more than 100.
It was multiple pages of just links to click through, yeah. It's like kind of hypnotizing when you're just on the page and you're just on the link, open a new tab, open a new tab, open a new tab. It was so tough. The majority of the entries were really, really competent. I'd say like the like top 25, top 30 guys or something in my list, I would probably consider hiring for a project if they came across my way when I needed them. Certainly. Yeah, I mean, pros. Yeah. 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 I'm not a huge advocate for like long courses. I don't want to I don't want to offend anybody who's selling courses, but there's just so much empty time and dead air sometimes. I've watched a couple of courses, but I really don't watch that many courses or tutorials. I've barely watched anything in my entire life. When I seek the answer to a technical question or something, I mostly just look at forums. I don't even watch. I hate watching videos to find a solution because if it's text, I can read it faster than and somebody will make a video on something and it's going to be 5 minutes long. It's going to be like, hey guys, what's up? It's Big 3D Guy 69 here today with the answer to your question. But first, here's this and that. I might just make a YouTube channel for 5-second answers on how to solve 3D problems. As fast as possible. And I feel like Ian Hubert really has a revolution there with his 1-minute tutorials. Those are just perfect. I love that guy. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I always look at Jan Urschel's courses. He came up previously. He has some great courses, but they are pretty long. And I mean, either find time. I mean, when you already know Blender in and out, I mean, you can skip through his videos though. He's still a great instructor. Very good concept artist too. He knows how to make an image pop. Just teaching people in general, it helps so much too, because you find stuff out yourself. Someone will ask you for something. I do that a lot. People DM me all the time, and I reply to like every single DM. I don't have a single person in my request box. I always reply to everybody when they have a question, and that's taught me so much too, because you start to look at things from a different angle. Socializing as an artist is so important. I can't stress that enough. There's Eduardo V's entry, the Razer credit card.
A cheat, because I think he made the Razer card before the contest.
Yeah, there was another guy who I think used visuals he had previously made. But hey.
Yeah, there was like
Edward didn't win anyway. Otherwise, it would have been a controversy, maybe. But no, he's in my list though. He's definitely in my list. He's right here. Yeah, number 10 perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah,
there were just so many great entries. It was so tough to choose.
That's true. You have a question, because I'm not doing Blender, but you have a question.
Oh.
Thanks, Alexandre. It was really cool to see you doing an entry. So you have Thomas asking any thought on Blender.
I'm seeing it. Oh, it's amazing. Blender adapting. They also I must admit I have not looked at geometry nodes or animation nodes just because I haven't had time for it. I've been doing a lot of still imagery, concept art in 3D recently as jobs, but I think there is a huge potential for Blender to be an intermediate tool for everything, because for me, the problem with Houdini is I am never so deep into simulating and doing complex stuff that I need Houdini. I always, I'd rather spend time figuring out a way to rig it and animate it by, animate it with modifiers, noise modifiers or something like that. When I make plants, I don't use Forester or anything. I don't simulate the plants. I rig them and then I animate them because I know it's going to be good enough for all intents and purposes. But for Blender, for this intermediary tool that so many people use, either because it's free or because they like it, to adapt things, mesh to volume, volume to mesh, which is a really rich tool, not just in a technical sense, but also for art direction. To be able to convert volumes to meshes, because mesh shading in Blender is so rich. And geometry nodes, I haven't looked at them yet, but they seem very promising. And that's obviously the next step, sort of as a discount SOP, as you have it in Houdini, is going to be crazy interesting. I mean, there's so many uses for this. You can make game assets, high quality game assets procedurally in Houdini. It's VFX grade stuff and everything. And even if just a tiny shred of that comes to Blender, that is a huge credibility boost for that software. And we love to see that. I'm done.
Yeah, and I think we've watched mostly all the entries. I didn't display the one that we already saw during the live. And yeah, so
no, I already promoted my top 3 picks on my stories, and I'm probably gonna go through and add some honorable mentions too. I just didn't want to be on my phone too much during the conversations. But yeah, I mean, this was amazing, and thanks for pulling me in here last second because one guy dropped out. That was great. Honored to be here with all these great people.
Yeah, thanks for being there. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Of course, thanks to Razer and NVIDIA for providing nice prizes. And of course, thanks to all the jury members. It was like a top quality jury, and yeah, it was really fun and nice time.
God, I can't wait to play Cyberpunk.
Yeah, have a nice time. Bye, guys.
All right, everybody, keep creating and all that.